Hello and welcome. My name is Blake and I'm your host for this week's NewsPod for In the Hyperloop. So the Boring Company has released some images of their earth-shattering coast-to-coast news as well. So why would the Boring Company start a new tunnel in DC before their first tunnel in Los Angeles is finished? Well, the TRDL is that the Boring Company appears to be progressing well with cheap tunneling technology, but also progressing well with Tesla to create an electric skate or an autonomous tube vehicle. The skate can carry many things like cars, passengers, or cargo, and it would go as fast as a regular Tesla car. But the crucial thing is that the skate could also be fitted with a shell that can withstand the vacuum that is required for a traditional Hyperloop tube. So outfitted with the shell, the skate could go at Hyperloop speeds of 600 plus miles an hour. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder that In the Hyperloop relies on support from viewers like you. If you like what you see, please consider supporting by clicking the link below for our Patreon at the bottom of our screen. So without further ado, let's get started. For a bit of background, the Boring Company was first mentioned in early December 2016 by Elon Musk. He tweeted, "Traffic is driving me nuts. I'm going to build a boring tunnel machine and just start digging." Well, now the boring machine and as I switch, is progressing really well, and they're scaling and validating their rapid boring technology with the growing test track underneath their Hawthorne facility. And this photo was displayed on Elon Musk's Instagram feed. So Elon later elaborated in another tweet that they've dug about 500 feet or so and said that it could be 2 miles long in 3 or 4 months and hopefully stretch the whole 405 north-south corridor from LAX to the 101 in a year or so. So with the photo, and there's the map of Hawthorne and kind of upper Santa Monica. So with the photo of the LA tunnel in LA, there are new reports from the Boring Company of starting work in Maryland. According to the Baltimore Sun, Maryland has given permission to dig tunnels between New York and Washington, D.C., and they're starting a 10-mile route beneath the state-owned portion of the Baltimore-Washington Parkway between Baltimore City line and Maryland 175 in Hanover. The section is stated to ferry passengers from Washington, D.C. to New York City with stops in Baltimore and Philadelphia in just 29 minutes. Maryland's approval is the first step in many needed to complete the multi-billion-dollar project. Now with the use of these tunnels, they're quoting for high-speed underground transit system known as a Hyperloop. But as we know, there are now lower speed skates that could go in these tubes. And this is a brief video. That would carry cars, containers, and people. These will share a regular atmosphere and they'll be on these autonomous skates. So what does this mean for the global Hyperloop push? Well, the Boring Company is actually building the below-ground infrastructure that all these autonomous vehicles, skates, systems will rely on. So presumably, they'll be the de facto dimensions for the Hyperloop and will determine what kind of cargo can fit in the Hyperloop. If you want to know more about the Boring Company, definitely check out the Boring Company's frequently asked questions page on www.boringcompany.com/FAQ. And there's a brief little image of what kind of a micro subway unit would look like. So definitely check out the Boring Company. And also, if you want, definitely order one of these hats from theboringcompany.com/hat and keep watching In the Hyperloop.